Midas Touch, I think, are the first people to post this clip, posted a new clip, and then I'll show you other examples of now that Epstein is in the headlines, now that just Trump's general creepiness is in the headlines, people are digging and digging to find other examples of the pattern of Trump being a creepo. And I'll show you some of those. The latest one, as I said, Midas Touch posted this. He was doing some sort of Q&A, and he tells a little story, okay?
My name is Juliet. I have a question. My question is, how many jets do you have, and how would I apply to be a flight attendant?
So she says, how would I apply to be a flight attendant on one of Trump's private planes?
I think she's hired. You're hired. Now, I had a case. It was very interesting. A beautiful girl who was 17 or 18 applied to be a waitress. She's so beautiful. She's like a world-class beauty, like the young lady who just asked a question about the actress. She's so beautiful. And my people came, she said, "Well, Mr. Trump, she has no experience. So I interviewed her anyway, because she was so pretty." And I said, "Let me ask you, do you have any experience?" She goes, "No, sir." I said, "When can you start?" And you can work at my plane anytime. Yeah. See, now, she worked at my plane. That's like a death wish for me, right? That's like an alcoholic. I have many friends. They're wonderful people. They're alcoholics. You put scotch in front of them. It's like, this would be my form of alcoholism.
Okay, so as a part of that, he tells a story of a 17 or 18-year-old girl who he said, "You're just so pretty. I need you to, I don't care if you have any experience. Come here, let me take a look at you." Now, some other examples that some are even more creepy came up during my appearance on The Damage Report with John Iadarola, and I'll let you watch some of that.
This is kind of gross. I think you'll agree.
You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
So that was him talking to a girl who was 10 years old. So technically, he's talking about dating a 20-year-old. So I guess technically, if you're a right-wing influencer or whatever, that's not creepy. But for most people, it's gross. It's really gross. Thank you to the producer. That was in 1992 that he recorded that. So he looked at a 10-year-old girl and thought, a certain number of, I could eventually date her. And I hope that there's not a single person in the audience right now that when you look at a 10-year-old girl or boy, if that's, that's the way you point, that you would think about that literally at all. That's just not a thing. In the same way that if you were asked what you have in common with your young daughter, you wouldn't immediately talk about sex on The View or whatever. Like, these are all things that normal people do not do, and yet he has been doing them for decades and decades in the public eye, on tape. God only knows what he says when the cameras aren't rolling. But anyway, I'll be dating is kind of a thing that pops up a lot for him. This is also 1992. He's described as having spotted a youth choir singing Christmas carols at the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan. He asked two girls how old they were. When they said they were 14, he, at that point 46 years old, replied, "Wow, just think, in a couple of years I'll be dating you." Now, in that case, that only puts them at 16. So, not great. Also, why are you looking at a 14-year-old and thinking about when they'll be accessible to you? I guess it's better than 10 if you're ranking his perversions, but it's still gross. And it comes up a lot with Donald Trump. Take a look at this.
I'm married, okay?
Right.
And I'm very happily married. I have a great wife. But if I weren't married, I'd be able to get all of the girls I want, except for possibly Robin.
Do you think you could now be banging 24-year-olds?
Oh, absolutely. I have no trouble.
Would you do it?
I have no problem.
Yeah, do you have an age limit, or would you...
No, I have no age. I mean, I have an age... I don't want to be
the
like...
upper bracket, yeah.
Foley with, 12-year-olds.
Can I make a prediction for you?
Yes.
I say you have one more marriage in you. Yeah.
Well, that's nice. I'm sure Melania will love to hear that.
Okay, so leave out the fact that he's obviously chronically cheating on Melania and all of that stuff. But I guess I have an age limit. So I don't have an age limit. Wait, I'm on the radio. That sounds bad. Okay, I do have an age limit. I'm not going to go 12, everybody. Get out of here. I'm not going to do 12. 13 possibly. Are they a mature looking 13? And so look, like I assume, Luke, you've been on a lot of videos, right? If I were to comb through every video you've ever recorded, I wouldn't be able to find one thing half as creepy as that. And for him, it's everywhere for him. And this is why I think people just assume that he's got to be in there as well. You know, obviously he's trying to cover it up. That also makes it suspicious. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think about that sometimes too, because people will go, oh my gosh, but you dug through so far back, and oh, he didn't know he was being recorded there in the Access Hollywood tapes, and oh, that was from so many years ago. And it's just sort of, no, but as you said, we've both been on, you for many more hours, but on video, talking off script for so many hours. And I look at as many hours as you want, and even a little percentage of that isn't going to come out, because when you see one comment that's a little is one thing, there's this pattern with him. And to go back to sort of how MAGA's reacting to this, we saw, that Newsmax host Greg Kelly say, listen, this is looking really bizarre, but I'm going to go ahead and trust Trump. And this is one of the reasons he cited, because Trump was friends with Epstein. So I think he had better inside perspective on the situation, which is why he's going to trust Trump. And similarly, they have set Trump up sort of like the QAnon world. You positioned him as, to your point in a previous segment, they believed all the political figures they didn't like were in this box, and the real proof of Epstein and his powerful friends made them say, okay, what if we can make the world as simple as the people that we don't like are all a part of the same group that is going to be on some client list of Epstein's, and it'll just be a list of all Democrats and Hollywood actors that we don't like, and there won't be a mention of any figures we do like. Except now they're caught up with, this particular story, but we've gone back. I saw Candace Owens going, hey, I just found this clip of Trump in an interview saying I'll declassify JFK and MLK, but then he kind of waffled on Epstein. It's like, where were they? All of this information was there. We already have a civil trial where he's found liable for sexually abusing a woman. All that they're fine with. So I'm honestly a little bit confused as to why now, even though I'm glad, but why now they're going, oh my gosh, is he creepy? Was he friends with Epstein? This is weird. I'm confused. Yeah, and those are just a couple of the recent ones that were circulating. But obviously you have if Ivanka weren't my daughter, I'd be dating her. You have, what's one thing you have in common with your daughter about Ivanka? And he says sex. Oh, I was going to say sex, but... And then you have his newborn baby, super young child, I think baby age. And he's like, oh, the baby has gotten his wife's legs, but we're waiting to see if it's going to get this part, and then motions at like the breasts part. And it's just, and then on tape saying I grabbed them by the what, and they let me do it because I'm a star. And he was found liable for sexual abuse in a civil trial. And he was besties with Epstein for 15 years or more. And they told us he was the warrior who was going to stop that. It's never made any sense. I do think it's good to circle back to those moments. Now, we have more, again, in all sorts of reports and books, just more and more anecdotes are coming in to substantiate Trump's past experiences and associations and just kind of the guy that he's been. And this headline came through. Obviously, Prince Andrew has been accused and settled a case regarding his, along with Epstein, alleged abuses. And now you have this. Trump talked, let me just say the word because it feels a little strange and juvenile to continue saying the P word. Trump talked pussy with Prince Andrew and gave him a list of masseuses. Shocking new book claims. A new book is making the explosive claim that President Donald Trump and Prince Andrew were good friends. Add it to the list. Epstein, Diddy, Ghislaine. Who was Putin? Prince Andrew. It's like the RFK clip. I had who was the one he cited? O.J. Simpson. I had Harvey Weinstein. I had all of them at my house. New book makes explosive claim that President Trump and that Trump furnished the prince with a list of masseuses during a conversation about pussy, according to historian Andrew Lowney, author of the upcoming book entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York. The president spoke glowingly about the prince. And that's, one thing, I guess, before you know what was happening. But shortly afterwards, and clearly good friends, Trump and Andrew were overheard at an event to discuss Trump's plans for a golfing complex in Scotland, talking entirely about P-word, with the American producing a list of masseuses for the prince. Ugh. Masseuses. And just for any of our viewers out there, masseuses, you know what I mean? The lotion's not going on the back. And my hope is those were adult masseuses, but now with all this context and who Prince Andrew has been accused to be, and this was just a big friend group. It was a friend group. Like, I actually do get RFK Jr.'s point. Fine. I'll pull it up. I will. Let's just find this because it'll be RFK Wines. I actually do get this point of, yeah, here we go.
Things ever, which is you just announced that you were on Epstein's flight. Like, you're the only person, I think, that was like, hey, I was on. But give the context, obviously, to the Epstein thing, because you basically got out ahead of the...
So first of all, I'm in New York for most of my life.
Yeah.
So, you run into everybody in New York. I mean, I knew Harvey Weinstein. I knew Roger Ailes. I knew O.J. Simpson came to my house. Bill Cosby came to my house.
You also knew good people.
Yeah, I did know.
Right. But he's saying we bumped around, whatever. But there's not like this documented history, from my understanding, of RFK being absolute besties with Weinstein, right? But what we're seeing here is a friend group. This was a close-knit, at least between Epstein and Trump and Ghislaine. Then you throw Prince Andrew into it. And for the cognitive distance, like I talked about in that appearance on the Damage Report, for them to just continue seeing this, and a lot of them are still hanging on to, I don't know. I don't know why Trump's doing this. I can't figure it out. It's pretty obvious. We don't know the extent, but it's pretty obvious. Now, just one total sort of silly observation. What is this? They had a whole conversation, like a long conversation about vaginas. What is it? How long can that conversation be? You know what I mean? Wow, so great. So vagina. Is that? Oh, let me tell you about one that I saw. Like, what? Well, my favorite one was when I was 26 and I was in Brooklyn and I stumbled across one of the best specimens I'd ever seen. And it was just there. And just the way that it matched with my, it's crazy. Nature, it's like there, just like, whoa, Like, how much, what is this? They had a whole conversation, like talking for an hour, and then he goes, oh, and here's the list of masseuses. And all they were talking about was about, Those are the worst conversations to get stuck in, by the way. It's happened before, okay? Not the, here's my list of masseuses, to now, given the context we know about them, pretty scary concept. But when you are just you're with the guys, right? And they're like, oh my God, I got the best puss ever. And you're like, oh, it's just like girls don't, well, some of them do, but I feel like women don't do it to the same extent, right? I was with a great guy. How often are like, I got some great dick. Now let's talk about it for 20 minutes. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but it's just weird culturally how men speak about it like it was honestly a a toy that they like, inanimate object that they found. Dude, what I did to that was insane. It's like, what was her name? I'm sad. Mommy, that party was weird. Oh my goodness. Something terrible is happening. Something has fallen off of our wall. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what you're going to say, but share your thoughts in the comments on that, of course.